full sail because the top of the sail is at the top of the mast. When you reef, that's not the case. So you have an option there. You can leave the downhole where it is, crank later. So I'll do that temporarily. Watch this. I'm going to lower sail now. I'm going to leave the downhole attached. And remember to take the boom. You want to drop sail. Take the boom, the sail out of the opening. Function up when you left. Now, I'm going to reverse. I'm going to loosen the outhole. I'm going to uncleat it and flag it. Now I have a couple options. If I want, I can actually use the outhole to tie up the new reefing fluke. If you want to do it that technique, you can tie this up, but I'm not going to crank on it because I got to secure the reefing tack first, because then it'll pull it away, right? Okay. So, I'm going to untie this connect here. Remember our reefing tack kringle. A kringle is a grommet. Put it in like this. Shove it in there, so it takes a little work. Now, that is really tight. You secure the new tack, or the reefing tack. Now I want to put tension on the foot. Again, you can use existing outhole, or if I had an extra line, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use the existing outhole, now pull the original and the new one, and I'm tightening the foot of the sail. Snug, okay? Give it a little crank, pull it tight, and you can tie a couple of half hitches here. Or you can bring a piece of 6-foot line with you. Doesn't matter. You can pass it and use the cleat. So now what have I done? I've secured the new tack. I've secured the new fluke. Okay? The foot of the sail is said to be loose-footed. You can rise up, but I don't want it that much. Okay? Did I bring line with me? Did anybody have a 3-foot piece of line? Remember, we now have tension on the fluke, pulling it aft, but you also want to tie it to the boom, okay? So you tuck in that extra flake sail that's not going to be used. You tie it nice and tight. Left over right and under, right over left and under. So now, the fluke is pulled aft and it can't rise. This makes me happy. The strain, all the strain, is going to be on the reinforced area on the new fluke. Okay, now, I'll show you the bunting in a minute. I'm going to raise the main. Because I reduced sail. It's possible to raise the boom too far if you didn't have this already tightened. That's okay. You can raise it up to here, What's going to happen is if I pull the halyard further, the sail will go up, the boom comes out of the mast. So only raise the boom to your desired level, ideally where it was in the full sail. Now I'm going to clean the halyard. Now I'm going to crank on the down, get the wrinkles out. Now, all of the strain is on those three corners, the head, the new tack, and the new glue, right? Now there's this extra part of the sail that needs to be tidied up and flaked. You can tie these bunting lines left over right and under, right over left. But not so tight that they rip the sail. If I go sailing now and it's blowing knots, if I tie this too tight, all the strain, I'll get creases and all the strain will be on those diamonds. And again back here, remember don't tie it so that you find the main sheet. You tie it above the main sheet. Left over right, under, right over left, and under. At this point, the flake sail, now this is going to happen also. This is your extra sail. You can tuck it in. You can bring extra line if you want it to make it real pretty. But the strain, all the forces on this sail are on the new reef tack, the new reef kringle. I've got tension on the foot. I've got tension to the boom. I've got all three sides perfectly trimmed. And now I can go sailing. All right, and I've got that lovely pillow seat. Oh yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, if I've got this too tight, I've got that lovely crease, and I could possibly tear the sail when the wind picks up. And all the force is on the three corners. My boom is roughly parallel to the water. Now, it's good in theory, but it's easy to get this wrong. When you're in the boat and it's windy, you might tie up to the wrong clue, wrong tack. Lines, frequently people tie up this line, and they tie it around the main sheet and it won't go out. So practice this when it's calm. Make this routine, and if it's blowing with white caps, if the dock master says you can go as long as you reef, now you know how. Any questions? None. All right.
Doug, how'd you tie the blue line? I know you ran the original line. I guess you put it around the cleat on the boom.
No, I didn't use the cleat. I have the outhole, the existing outhole in this case, holding the new clue aft, as well as the old clue. It's tight, but you can do it however you want. You can bring a 6-foot piece of line, tie it to the new clue, and completely ignore the old outhole, which is what I did inside. All right, in that case, you would pass the new outhole, the 6-foot piece of blue line.
Went through the new clue.
Went to the new clue.
Okay, that was the part that I was confused.
Yeah, I tied a bowl into the new clue. I went through the block as if it was the old clue.
Right.
And then I can use the cleat and crank on it. That will give me tension aft, but not to the boom. You have to tie a second piece of line.
Through the new cleat, through the new clue.
My short 3-foot piece of line is tight to keep the clue to the boom. As long as my three corners are tight and they're not all over the place. Now some people, they only do outward, and then the cleat, the blue kringle, is pulled back, but it's not down, it rises up. So now all three corners are firmly secured to where they need to be. And I've got this nice shape. The back edge of the sail is flapping, but that's because we don't have our battens in. Okay, that's the leech. That's not luffing. That's perfectly normal, and nothing you can do about it unless you stick little sticks into those pockets. You see the two pockets? That will stop that.